Hello and welcome to another very interesting session of Confessions of a Business Analyst with Teso Adoroa. This is episode 3 and I'm so excited. Maybe because of the guest that I have today or just because it's episode 3, but yeah, today we have a guest. Her name is Immaculata Ojadi, and
Yeah.
she is a business analyst, an interesting and an experienced business analyst as well. So we'll get to meet her right away, and then we can start. Hello, Immaculata.
Hello. Hello, everyone, too. And as my Korean people will say, Annyeong. So,
Mm,
good morning to everyone. I am Immaculata, and everyone calls me Ima. Ima for short, because most people forget my name. Really. I think it's an honor to be here. I watched the last session and I was like, wow, like I didn't really think of this. Like it's very good for us to have programs like these to really help people see that business analysis is very practical. There are a couple, in fact, yesterday I had a conversation with someone that was like, what can you even do for me with business analysis? So this is nice. I'll probably share this to her and see, yes, this is business analysis in action.
yes, so
And
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so we'll call you Ima.
Yes,
All right.
Ima.
So, Ima, before we start, right, we like to
Okay.
do this part of the show where, you get to tell us your BA story. So, I know you
Okay.
started hinting us already, and I can see already that we have a lot to go. So, tell us,
Yes.
what's your BA story? How did you become a
Okay.
BA?
Interesting one, I would say. I can't, the story is not complete without mentioning two very important people. The first one is Aunt Emilia. Aunt Emilia, if you see this, it's because of you. And the second person is really Enoeka. I know she's now a very big name in the business analysis space, but I met her when she, in fact, just moved to Canada. So I used to do like internship programs. There was a particular one I was doing that year. I think it was 2019, but we were supposed to travel 2020, but COVID hit. COVID happened. So the program was now
Exactly.
brought online and it was different countries. Like I think we had like 17 countries and we're working on a project online. And Eno was one of the facilitators. So I remember that day vividly. She introduced herself. I think she had been brought in to speak about a particular niche on nepotism, if it was so. But when she introduced herself, she said, "Hello, I am Eno Eka. I'm a Nigerian. I used to be an accountant, but now I'm a business analyst." That was the one that I took. I was like, "What is that?" Never heard of that before. I didn't hear
Oh,
every
wow.
other thing she said. It was just that one that I picked up. So why was I interested in it? I was also applying by the side for scholarships, and that's where I'll bring in Auntie Emilia into this. She had written me a recommendation letter, and in a recommendation letter, you're not supposed to like make it all glowy. You're supposed to put things that are factual about this person. So there was a line there that she wrote, and if I remember that well, she made something of, I wish Ima would speak more on matters that are important. That she's a very quiet person, conservative, but she has a lot to say. I don't know why, but that thing got stuck in my head. It got stuck in my head.
Mm.
So I had studied accounting. I still love accounting. Accounting had been like my whole life, right up to university, and I even practiced a bit. But I felt like it was so safe. It was me in my safe zone. And when I read that line, I was like, yes, there are a couple of things that I know I could say, but I always keep quiet. I observe, I keep quiet. So when I met Eno, after that session, she had made mention of, oh, if you wanted to ask her question, you could book a session on her calendar. That was what I did. I was sure she was expecting me to ask her about nepotism or whatever. No, I said, please, what is a business analyst? What is a business analyst and what exactly do you do? So she laughed, but she explained it so beautifully. She said, "We are agents of change." I still remember it today. She said, "A business analyst is an agent of change." And I was like, Ima, you have been in plenty change. And so, she really walked me through, because I told her that I also studied accounting. The natural line was to go and continue in that field, but I feel like I want to do more. And she was like, "Yeah, it's very good that you're exploring business analysis, But I told her that, how does someone trust me to be a business analyst? Because when she explained, I said, like, your work is very serious. Like, I know nothing about this. Why should anybody listen to what I have to say, on certain matters?" And she was like, "Yes, but you can learn it. There are courses, you can take trainings and do all of that." So I attended one of her master class. She gave me training recommendations. And I feel like that whole year, I went into, Ima, if you're going to start applying for business analysis job, you need to know what it means and know it well. So I did so many courses. I listened to people. I went on YouTube. I was always disturbing her. "Oh, so if you do this, what do you do this?" But it was such a beautiful process. And then I got my first business analysis role. And I think the rest is just history. I'm like, this is where I want to be. This is where I want
Oh
to
wow.
be.
A very interesting journey. I think
Yeah.
we both share kind of the same journey, because I mean I'm an accounting graduate as well,
Wow.
and then yeah, I also met Enoika in her early years as well. I've been
Yes.
following her in the business analysis school since then. I attended
Yeah.
several of the master classes that she held, and all, and I learned quite a lot as well. So
Yes.
it's quite very interesting. So you see, it's stories that people can relate to, and they know where to
Yeah,
look when they want to,
that's
get into business
true.
analysis. So this
That's
episode is called dealing with or winning over difficult stakeholders, right? Winning over difficult stakeholders. But why did we choose difficult ones though? Maybe we don't have to win with the ones that are not difficult, right?
exactly.
So let me ask you my first question now. I know that you've had instances where you work with difficult stakeholders. Every project, has
Yeah,
its stakeholders ups and downs, and stakeholders are one of those challenges. So
true.
can you maybe tell us about the most difficult stakeholder you've ever worked with, and why was the situation so challenging? What made it so challenging? Like, just
Yeah.
tell us.
Okay. So when you say that, two particular teams come to mind, two particular teams come to mind, I think, throughout my entire experience. And the first one was in the insurance space, one of the insurance teams. And the second one was in the banking space, one of the credit teams. And I think,
Don't tell me,
um,
don't tell me compliance is part of it.
no, not really. I was
Okay, great.
compliant people. We jolly very well.
All right.
Uh, so I think that for me, they were most difficult because there seemed to be a block. Um, so most times I encourage stakeholders and requesting teams or business owners that, as much as you're looking for a solution, as much as you're trying to take on board a change, you have to be open to it. It starts with you. Before
Mm,
I catch the effect from you, you transmit that enthusiasm to me, and then I pick it up from there and I take it out. So I think for these two teams, it was very difficult for me because I don't think they were open to the change. They still wanted to still be very comfortable with what they were doing, but maybe management mandated that it has time, it's time for you people to move. You people must sharp move. So that was why it was so difficult, because it just felt like information kept bouncing back, because you make a recommendation, you walk them through certain processes, and they're like, "No, no, 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 we don't accept it that way. No, no, it must be like this, it must be like this." And I'm like, "But you guys initiated this change."
it's a case of
You
them wanting to change, but not wanting to change.
exactly.
I
Exactly.
think I understand.
So it was really frustrating. I would say I was happy to hand over that project.
Oh, you
Like
didn't even
very
finish it.
happy. No. Happy to hand it over.
Okay, so I think that leads us to our next question. So what strategies, and I know that you've worked with difficult stakeholders in more than one instances, right? So
Yeah.
what strategies did you actually use? What strategies or techniques did you use that helped you build trust with your
Mhm.
resistant or skeptical stakeholders? Because
Yeah.
at some point they would have to say, okay, let's listen to what Ima is saying. So what did you do?
Exactly. I think the very first thing was to sell them the value. That's the very first thing for me. And that's
Oh, wait,
why, yeah.
hold on. How do you sell value to somebody who literally approached you that they wanted something? I mean,
Exactly.
Ima, I want to drink water, and then Ima is telling me how water is important to me. I asked you in the first place. So please
Yeah.
tell us how do you
Okay.
sell value to stakeholders, especially when it's they are the ones requesting or moving for the
Yes,
change.
true. So there is something I like to do, and I think that that's a superpower for every business analyst. So if you work in a very structured place, right, you will have a request from a team, but oftentimes the behavior they come with lets you know if they are the one that initiated that change or it's just mandate from the top.
It was
You know,
forced on them.
exactly. So most times I already know that this person is going to be difficult right from the beginning, based on even how you're speaking to me or how you're bringing about a scenario or whatever. And how I go about selling value is if I see that you look like this is forced on you, because my position allows me direct access to management, I'll just go to the back and have a conversation. It might be the head of a group, it might be the MD, might be the CEO in some cases, you know. But from speaking to them, I want to understand what is the end goal from their own perspective, because none of them really set out to frustrate these teams. They want their business to move forward. There's a target, you know. In some places, our KPI is hanging there and profit sharing and all of those things.
Exactly.
So, so they have a goal. And most times it's just sell me the goal. Let me understand it. And once I'm able to understand it from that higher level, it's now left to me to say, oh, for this particular team, what role do they play in this? Like, how do they fit into the bigger picture? And so oftentimes when they tell me, oh, we want this bot, there's always a bot coming across. But, it's just to then sit down and listen to it, let them feel heard. Because also I've noticed that for difficult stakeholders, they really want to be heard. They want to know that they are understood and that this person is also fighting for them.
That their
Sometimes
opinion actually counts.
exactly their opinion actually
Yeah.
counts.
Yeah.
It might even be, can they even keep some of the things that they are familiar with? Does the change have to be total, abrupt, so sudden? So once I start off that process of trying to explain what the end goal is, let me break it down to you how you guys are meant to benefit from this. It becomes much more easier. And I've seen that sort of opened the field up, and people are more conversational. They want to explain more, and it's just putting humor. Touch everything down with humor, and you're good to go.
Mm.
Touch everything down with
Very,
humor.
very, very apt and interesting. So I think I what I heard you say was, first of all, key stakeholder identification. Know
Yes.
who those key people are on every project, and then influencing skills. Who are you going
Yes.
to influence what? Right, like you said, you're going to the group head. You're going to talk to the big guys to understand
Yes,
what the objective is. Then you can know how it
exactly.
directly benefits each of the teams that are related in the project, and by doing that
Exactly.
they open up to you, and they are also able to see the benefit. And then most times they don't like us, they think that we're going to do something
Yes.
that will take their job, and then they feel like
Exactly.
If we have a portal to do this thing, then what do you need me for? And then they want to push
Exactly.
back, but they don't know that we want to make life better for them in most cases. So
Yes.
I think that's a very good point. Influencing, identifying who those key guys are, and helping the end users of these solutions understand that we have your best interest at heart.
Yes, very key.
That's an interesting one. I mean, I'm understanding things differently. So those things I used to do were valid. When a team is trying to push
Very
back, I
valid.
just go to say, ah, boss, ED, CEO, your people are saying this, your people are saying that. And then I had
Exactly.
a boss who would always do that. When I come to him and say, so we have a challenge. The people are saying they are waiting for approval and this.
Mm,
He would say, come, let's go. Let's go and see the ED. Let's go and see this person. And then we'll go
yes,
physically and meet them and say, Madam Oga, your project is ready. We want to deploy.
exactly.
And your people are saying this. What's the challenge? And then it kind of puts them on their toes,
Yes,
and in that situation, they don't even have an excuse. So I think
true.
influencing is actually a very great skill that we need to also get stakeholders on our side.
Yes, it is.
All right. I think you kind of touched on my next question, but I'll still ask you
Okay.
anyways. When you know that oh, how do you know, or
Mm-hmm.
how do you know when to push back or when to just
Okay.
listen? Like stakeholders are saying, no, we don't want this. We actually don't want this. And then you are
Mm,
pushing back to say, this is for your good.
yeah,
Or when at those times you just sit back and listen and say, you know what, you guys are right. Let's do it your way and
yeah.
not insist on going your own way. So how do you
Yeah.
know when to balance, these situations?
Yes. Definitely these things occur, and there's no one size fits all. I think the very easy one is when the mandate also or the objective is unclear. When the objective is unclear right from the top, then and there's also this kind of rush. So once I start to see that there's a form of rush for let's get things moving, let's do this, and even the team, they are looking like from where to where, like they say they are confused, why are you guys rushing us? I already know that there's going to be some sort of modeling there. And so when I start to engage, once I know that these are surrounding factors, it's a good time to listen. It's a good time to just hear them out. Most times I ask questions beyond just what's your process, this is our assist, this is the to be that the bank or that the organization had said you should have and all of that. No, I ask questions like, what are you guys currently being challenged with? Ask good questions. Ask questions like, what do you struggle with as a team? Ask questions like, I beg, just between me and you. If we do this thing, is it even going to help you people at all? Like, is it going to help you people at all? you know? So it's being at their level, like be little. And oftentimes I run into business analysts that, because of again the position and the doors that are open to a business analyst, they fail to really come to the level of the guys that they are dealing with. You have to be at their level and then act like if you were you, someone came and said, it's not like this again, no, it must be like this. How would you feel? So I try to relate that to myself and I ask questions along that line. And oftentimes I'll tell them, just give me the feedback. Don't leave anything out. Give me the feedback as it is. I've had people that they'll call me after and say, I beg, if you are reporting, don't put that one, oh, don't put that part, too. It's not part of it.
Exactly. That confidentiality is key. They want to be sure that you are protecting them as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not part of it. And I'm like, don't worry, you're safe. You're safe with me. It's also you now knowing how to reconstruct that in such a way that you're putting their position back to whoever it is you report to or the finish line. So I would say, back to the question, originally it's listen, look at the other factors around the requests. Is it plain? Is it understood? Is it easy that anybody can pick it up and know what everybody's trying to achieve. And then when to push back, right? Most times I push back when I see disrespect on the call, or I just see like outright, I don't want to do.
A
you know,
nonchalant attitude, and
exactly.
yeah.
So oftentimes you'd see that I was sitting on my own as a businessman. I did my day, jeje. You people came to come and find me, right? You came to come and find me. They say they gave me a job to do, and I've had to be really very strict on some calls and to explain that I'm doing a job like you are. It's just that our jobs are two different things. So I get the fact that you're
Mm-hmm.
resistant, but you have to work with me. Like something has to give, and sometimes it ends up being that, oh, I'm not the person you should be speaking to, go and speak to XYZ, and it's fine, it's okay. Sometimes it even ends with, oh, please don't contact me again. That's also fine, because what I then do is all of those are feedback, and I will take them and make sure that yes, it's properly communicated to maybe the person I'm reporting to, or the person that is in charge of that project. So there are different instances that you would look out for. If there's just not disrespect, nonchalance, you have to push back and say no. Sometimes again, another reason I know recently I've had to push back is when a team goes out to sign certain agreements, especially when it's vendor related, and
Mm,
they've signed contracts,
mm.
everything is cast in stone,
So we all
but
have
then
this
they give
problem.
it
We all have this. Oh my god.
exactly.
Hey, we all have this
they,
problem. I hope
they
our
didn't read.
stakeholders are listening and watching.
I'm telling you, they didn't read their contracts. They didn't
Mm,
read the limitations to those contracts. They didn't know that A is not a Z yet. It stop at X. And then they
Kai.
come back and they're like, give us Z. Most times I'm like, no, you didn't sign up for Z. And as much as I'm fighting for you guys, these people also earn. This is their day-to-day job. So let's be factual here, let's be real. Everybody now has to come
Exactly.
to a
And the
middle
contract you
ground.
signed is already against you.
He's already against you. Everybody, let's come to the middle ground and see how everybody can work things out. So that one is something that I see I've had to deal with recently, and I'm like, I even had to tell myself, go and sit down, read that document from beginning to end, line for line, and really understand what it entails, and then see if certain conversation comes up and you even find yourself clarifying that no, 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 that's not what you actually signed up for. You signed up for this. So yeah, I think that those are basically the areas that you have to look out for when you want to know whether you should push back or just let it go. Let it go.
Exactly. Just being a very good gatekeeper and trying to
Yeah.
put everybody together. It's well. So I mean, a lot of things you say resonate, and I must confess that since I started Confessions of Business Analyst with Teso,
Yes.
I've had business analysts. You're the third person now, and I think the experience kind of resonates, and it just goes to say that we see these things everywhere, and
Yes.
um, techniques that would work for you can also work for me, right?
Yeah.
And business analysts listening can also learn from our experiences and say, okay, you know what, this person tried this and it works. Let me try it and it works. And within the context of your organization, you can't just take
Exactly.
everything hook,
Context
line,
that
and sinker.
differs.
Actually, exactly. So right now we'll go into our game. We
Okay.
always play a game, right? So on every episode we play a game, and our intention is to make you lose on the game. So don't feel too bad when you lose. We're happy. We'll not be happy when you win. All right. So this game is called the. Are you there? All right. So this game is called Stakeholder or Supervillain. Right.
Mm,
I'm going to describe someone. I'll describe
okay.
someone. You tell me if that person is an actual stakeholder or it's something we made up. It's a supervillain in a movie or something. So we made it up. You can tell us if this one is a
Okay.
stakeholder, like it's a behavior of a stakeholder, or is a
Yeah.
supervillain. Is made up. This can't possibly happen. All right.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So you tell us if it's a real stakeholder type or is a made up supervillain. That's when I read it. Are you good to go? Good to go? All right. So number one, they disappear for weeks and then show up
Okay.
last minute demanding changes. So
No, come again with the first sentence. You said
they disappear for weeks, then show up last minute demanding changes. Is that a real stakeholder?
stakeholder.
Are you
Stakeholder.
sure?
Stakeholder.
All right. Yeah, that's
Change
correct.
it. Yakpa.
That's that's a real stakeholder. So they disappear for weeks. Like you tell them your project is ready and all of that. You do a demo for them, and you don't hear from them for weeks, and then they come
I'm
back to say
telling
we want changes. So we call that stakeholder the ghost.
you.
That's the ghost. That's very correct. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to number two. Interesting. We started on a good note.
Okay.
Number two, they can hypnotize the entire project team into thinking that scope creep is a good thing. They can hypnotize entire project teams into thinking scope creep is a good thing. Is
Stakeholder.
that a real stakeholder or a villain, a super villain?
Is a stakeholder. And it's
Think
mostly
very
the
well
ones
before
that head the department.
think very well before you answer. They can hypnotize entire project teams into thinking scope creep is a good thing. Stakeholder or super villain?
Well, when you use the word hypnotize now,
Mm.
if we're going for the
Mm.
literal meaning, hypnotize, hypnotize, I'll go for super villain. Super villain.
Okay, I think that's correct. That's correct. It's not a real stakeholder type. I mean, at
Yeah,
least to the best of our knowledge, nobody will hypnotize you in the office, right?
exactly.
Okay, so we call that one the scope bender, but it's a super villain.
Exactly.
All right.
Really scope better.
Next one.
Okay.
Every requirement must be their idea. If not, it's a bad one. Every idea must be their idea, or it's a bad one. Stakeholder or super villain?
Stakeholder. Stakeholder.
You're sure?
Stakeholder.
Correct. That's correct. Stakeholder. This one is the idea owner. We call him the idea owner.
I'm telling you.
Whatever it is that you say, even if you are saying the correct thing, they will rephrase it and say it in their way and make it
Yes,
look like it
you
is their
phrased
own
it.
idea.
That's not exactly how I communicated it. Is that I say okay.
Mm,
Okay.
exactly, that's correct. It's a real stakeholder type, and I'm sure everybody listening would relate that they have seen somebody like this before. you know.
Yes.
Okay, next one. Spins around in a chair, stroking a cat, and speaking only in acronyms. I'm saying it again. Spins around in a
Mm.
chair, stroking a cat, and speaking only in acronyms. I think you already know
That's
this
a
one. It's
real
simple.
villain. That's a real
Okay.
villain.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
real
That's it.
villain.
Now the next is so
Okay.
that's did you get 4/4? That's four questions. Did you get 4/4?
Yes.
I'm not
I'm
happy.
setting the pace.
I'm not happy. All right. Number five now. Constantly says make it simple, but changes their mind daily. So they like
Stakeholder.
I-
Stakeholder. Stakeholder.
on day one they'll come and say, I just want any type of button you put there, just put it so
I'm
that I can
telling
just click
you.
and log in. And next thing, say, okay, I saw these other guys, they have done built an app. When you click on the button, it changes to blue. Can you change
I'm
it to blue? Just blue.
like sometimes you just be looking at them like from where to where. Decide.
Hmm. Where
That's
did
why
this
I
one
don't
come
blame
from?
teams that lock it. You know,
Hmm.
I don't blame teams that lock down and say, this is it. We're not changing again.
Exactly. So that's a real stakeholder, and that's a visionary chameleon. Visionary
Oh,
chameleon. Don't worry, I'll share these terms with you so you can use them.
yes.
When you see a visionary chameleon, you're already no, this one is a visionary chameleon. It changes requirements every day. So what I do with those kind of people is I get them to commit to a document and sign off. So when it
And
comes
sign
back,
off.
we agree that this is what is going to guide us. throughout the
Yeah.
project, right? And then when you come with those changes, I tell you, oh, I'm sorry, but it's not part of our scope for now. We
Yes.
can come back later, but right now we'll go with what we signed up. And then it puts them in a hard position. But yeah, you signed it
True.
off in the beginning before you
True.
start changing colors every day.
Especially when it's not a major thing.
Exactly. It's not a showstopper. Tell me why you want to stop the whole project because of color of a button.
Color body. It happened.
All right. Number 6
Okay.
uses mind control to approve a BRD, then denies ever seeing the BRD.
Mind control,
Yeah.
okay. I've not reached that level. That's a
Mm,
villain. That's a villain.
yeah, sure. Are
That's
you
a
sure?
villain. Yes. Nowadays
That's
we have
very
DocuSign. DocuSign will bring you out. Things like Panda, Panda
exactly.
Doc, and the rest.
Yeah, so that's correct. That's a supervillain, right? Mind control. We don't do it here. We work on technology.
Yeah.
All right. So number 7,
Okay.
he believes everything is a priority and it is always urgent and immediate.
Stakeholder. Stakeholder. We have them plenty. Everything
So
priority. Ha!
I got about 40 features recently, 42 features recently, and I asked them, can we prioritize and take the most important features first?
Mhm.
Say everything is important. I said, okay, I have a whole document. Can we even break it down and start with the most important one? They said start
Yes.
in the order in which the document is. I mean,
We
how is that even priority? You know, right? But I
we have
mean, they are
that.
like that. That's our stakeholder. Everything is a priority to
Yes.
them, and it's all.
Then they are
So
the
if you
ones
have
that send
20,
email and copy management. They will
exactly.
write on management and say it's a priority.
How do you know that? How do you know what the next question is?
Oh God,
But
it's
that's
so
not the
funny.
next question. All right. So
Okay.
number 8,
Okay.
they vanish during UAT.
Okay.
Then they reappear post launch with feedback. So during UAT, they were not there. They now appear after when you have gone live to give you a
Yes.
feedback that you should have implemented. Stakeholder or supervillain.
Stakeholder.
Ah,
Stakeholder.
why?
That's
Is it that
stakeholder.
these things are very easy or what?
We just know too many variants of stakeholders. They have
Oh my
different
god.
characteristics.
So this
You'll
one
be
is called the
calling them.
time traveler.
I like that. Time
The
traveler.
time traveler. So they
I
are
like
always not available. Always not available. During when you
until
need
it
them, they're
goes
not
like,
available. Then they come back when it's too late to give you feedback.
yeah.
All right, number 9 now. They can
Okay.
turn any team meeting into a monologue about KPIs from as far back as 2016. So you came to a meeting, right? But this guy turns it into telling you what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do.
Hmm.
Stakeholder or supervillain.
Hmm. Hmm.
I knew I was going to catch you. Now I'll
Hmm.
catch you.
Hmm. I'll go with stakeholder. I actually have stakeholders that fall into that category.
Hmm. It's actually a supervillain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I need this one now. Wow.
So that's 8/9. Why am I so happy? At least I'm sure you're not getting 10/10.
Okay, let's go for the last question.
Last one.
Let's
Agrees with
flex the
everything
muscle.
you say in a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Agrees with everything you say in a meeting, but sends you an email that contradicts everything right afterwards. Stakeholder or supervillain.
Stakeholder.
Oh my
Stakeholder.
god.
Stakeholder.
And this one is called the polite saboteur.
Uh-huh.
They will not say anything. They will just say yes, everything is fine for me. Then they'll go back and
Yes.
write you a long email and copy everybody they can copy.
God. I think BAs are
All
really
right.
suffered.
We have seen it all, really, because we interact with basically everybody. So we've seen it all.
Yes, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
All right. So
Ah,
I mean, that's a very good one. We can clap for you. You got 9/10.
mm, mm,
Don't be proud. You've got 9 over
mm.
only 9/10.
The next person too, you can't get lower. Must only get
Yeah, they
higher.
cannot get lower. All right, that was an interesting one, and I mean, it shows that you know your stakeholders very well. That's
Yeah.
a good one. Well done. All right,
Thanks.
so let's go right to the next question. We just have
Okay.
two to go.
Okay.
So, have you ever turned a stakeholder into a champion, like somebody who was your
Mhm.
biggest critic, and then you're able to turn them into somebody who is your spokesperson or leads that particular project or process or product for you? And what did you do? How were you able to achieve that?
Yes. This one really brings back memories. Very interesting memories. So, one of the projects I used to work on, right? We had this individual. He was new. He was new in the actual team, and he knew his stuff. Like he knew his stuff very well, and you could tell that he knew his stuff. But the thing was, I think for maybe the timing, I think the timing was wrong. And so anytime I had reached out to him, oh, can we get on a call? This is what we're trying to achieve, explaining. It was always, sorry, I don't have time. that's, that's like what I was getting. Sorry, I don't have time. It
Oh,
was
wow.
so bad that I had to go and be looking at his schedule calendar. Like, what is this person doing? Like, what is this? What is, and the funniest thing, I kept seeing pockets of time, but I guess he was being engaged in like physical activities. And it was just frustrating me, especially when you now work remotely. I had to go into the office to say, let me even meet this person. So I think one of the things that worked well for me was I initiated physical contact. Like I went to his
Mm.
face and I said, you're always telling me you don't have time. What are you doing with your time? Is it not the same company that employ me? you know? So I had to initiate contact, and then he laughed and he explained, what his current situation was. And for me, I was like, oh, it made sense. I was like, guy, you could have told me now. Every time is I don't have time. I don't have time. And so from then, I was like, okay, let me work with your schedule. Can we slot in, even if it's like bite sizes, and see how we can pick
Mm.
it up from there. And so what ended up happening was we had to reschedule his session to very much the last things that happened because
Okay.
of his availability. But just talking with him, you would know that this one know his stuff very, very well. He knew the thing into and two. And it was just so easy to sell him the vision, you know most of the times he'll come with, oh, this is a particular frustration we have been having, and I'll like, yes, we're here to solve that. And maybe I'll call, most that time he used to be our CIO. Our CIO was someone that was very well diverse in the industry, and I'll be like, let me invite the CIO. He cooperated well. I like when management are able to work with business analysts. It makes the job so much easier, because I'll just be like, let
Exactly.
me just dial in the CIO. He will explain how we're going to help you with XYZ. And that one will come in and do his magic. And
And
the
then
guy
it
will
kind
be
of
like,
solidifies your influence around. So these people also respect you the same way, you're able to influence.
yes. And he'll be like, okay, you mean I'm going to do this? Okay. And it became so easier for him to then be the champion to the rest of his team, because he's like, no, 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 that's not the end goal. You explain it to them, you tell them, if you have issues, meet me, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll explain, and all of that. So his was like one path that worked so beautifully well. Another example is really just putting out. So within my team, at least the last team that I worked with, we like to have these sort of retrospectives. And when we have retrospectives,
Mm.
sometimes we invite other people in, for certain sessions of the
Okay.
retrospective, to just give us feedback. How was this whole experience for you? What are some of the things you feel we will do differently, and all of that. I've come to notice that even within that environment, you can identify the ones that have really picked up whatever deployment or whatever solution and have started using it, just by the feedback that they're able to give. It's not really
Interesting.
immediate. So you allow some time to go, maybe like a 4 month interval, a 3 months interval, and then you just have like a general session to talk. And you'll be surprised. You'll see the people that have tried it out, the people that know it well. And again, humor. Like I like to say that everything can be settled with a lot of humor. I'll just be like, you self, you will be champion now. Why you stressing me like this? If you know this thing like this, it's you that they're supposed to be meeting.
Exactly.
You know? And it's very indirectly, and some people just make them feel appreciated, make them feel like, oh, I'm very happy that you've been able to use this. It goes a long way to do this. And they'll be like, okay, oh yeah, now if you have issues, send them my way. Don't worry, I help you to do XYZ and all of that. And it works. It works. And that way you already start to have like champions in people that will now act as go-to persons when something needs to be done. You could also structure it in a very formal way. Most of the wider projects that I've worked on that maybe cuts across maybe like 10, 12, 14 teams, that one now, it has to be much more formal, that we need champions. We need champions. And oftentimes, yes, when you start out as, please, who is going to help us and champion this thing? Everybody's pushing their flag and
You will
pushing
not
their
see somebody. Everybody. There are rare cases where you'd find someone who says, "Okay, yeah, I'll champion this," But
yes, very rare cases. Very rare cases. Some of the things that I then like to do is I'll just go to whoever is heading each of the teams and tell them, please, you have to nominate somebody. You have to nominate somebody from your team to help us to do XYZ. Because with them, they will surely do a nomination, right? They'll do and nominate someone and say, oh, speak to this person and speak to that person. Most
Mhm.
times when I then start reaching out to you, if I had an informal conversation with your group head or whatever, I'll make it formal by sending an email and say you have been nominated as XYZ for this.
Yes, exactly.
And I copy everybody. you know and so you can't run out of that.
Mm,
You can't run out of that. Oftentimes I've also seen that somewhere along the line it changes. That person that was nominated may not really be that key person or that key go-to person. But I think that is being open to those nuances. You have to, when you're engaging several teams, and even though oh, this person was nominated, sometimes I keep it at the back of my head that as I interact, let me see who has the potential to trickle this effect. And when I spot that person, I go back to that email and I now do like a follow-up whereby I'm thanking the team lead. I'm thanking the team and I'm thanking the team. Thank you so much for blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I've been working with XYZ and I feel like he will be in a better position to do this. And then the narrative changes. you
you,
know?
you, you, you want to cause problems between your old champion and the new one.
No, so oftentimes you would have had conversations with them because
Yeah.
in the very first instance, the one that got nominated, he was mostly just moving his leg. He didn't want to do it. We gave you open
Mm,
room to bring yourself forth. You didn't want to bring yourself forth. Someone had to nominate you. And what I've seen is that they are happy to let go of it. They are happy to say, okay, you have found another person. Oh yeah, now come and carry go. So, once I have those conversations with them and I'm like, are we chill? Like, hope we're not having no form of conflict or anything. They're like, okay, yes, we're fine. Come and carry your wallet and be going. I'm like, okay, no problem. And
it's
it's just a
alright.
matter of making it more formal.
More formal.
But
Great.
yes.
Very interesting. And I think I like the way that you approach things,
Yeah.
work doesn't have to be all too worky. You can
Exactly.
bring some form of simplicity in it and just make sure that people are happy doing what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
All right. So last question but not the least.
Okay.
Um what advice would you give a BA, especially new BAs who feel intimidated by stakeholders? Because you can be working with somebody and you see he's the group head for retail, and you say, "Oh, the group head, and I'm
Yes.
just a small business analyst."
Yes.
What advice would you give the business analysts who are intimidated by stakeholders, and maybe practical examples? What helped you to,
Yeah.
sort of run away from that being intimidated by maybe the position of a particular stakeholder?
Okay. All right. That's a very good one. A very good one because I think that I've been in that situation. And over time, you have to build confidence. So my very first advice is you have to work on you before you even start looking externally. You have to work on yourself. I would say know your stuff well. Like know your stuff. Um, yes, as business analysts, you may not necessarily be able to avoid being thrown into things unexpectedly, but let that be the first time it happens. And go and do your own due diligence, do your research, right? Know what the two and two is for this particular project, this particular product, this particular initiative. Like, know your stuff well. The very next thing will be build your confidence. I have been in situations whereby I felt like I shouldn't speak, but the meeting ended and that change important factor was never said. And I was like, but Ima, you could have said it. Now this meeting has ended and nobody mentioned this, but you saw that it was necessary. And I feel like when that happened for me once, it was like, nah, I can't let that happen again, you know. And so don't let yourself get to that point. Don't also feel like your opinion doesn't count, right? Know how to pass across the message, say what needs to be said. I think that's the point. And it might be tough, right? Especially when you look at the status and the caliber of people that you might be having conversations with. But remind yourself that you're there. That means you're needed. Fill up that space. I
Mm,
am here because I am needed. Because I see things that
absolutely.
other people don't see.
Exactly.
And the beauty about being a business analyst is that you're so objective. You're not constricted by the subject matter expert to things, by the budgeting and the this thing of these. You get to come in and go and speak very objectively about things
Mm-hmm.
and help them to move from point A to point B. So it's very much working on yourself. Then I think one thing I always remind myself, the very last thing is, cannot come and beat me. Like I tell myself, no matter what, you, you can't come and beat me. I'm not in school again.
Mm.
Like I am no longer in school. You're not beating me. So once I just remember that, we're past that age, you can't beat me again. Whatever I need to say, I say it, in the most respectful, most diligent way. But I pass across that message because it's very important. And I know that that's where my own value comes from. And you see it, like being a business analyst is like having a 3D glasses that you're using to watch a play as it's unfolding. You just this one is coming. Like I love the way you've been able to classify stakeholders, and when they even start displaying, you're able to put them in categories. You in
Their
this category,
categories.
that category. So it's a very interesting role. But a lot more is you need to work on you first, and once you're good, you're able to bring out your own value to other people, no matter where you are. So that would be my general tips. They can't beat you. Number one, know your stuff very well, and then don't keep quiet. Talk. Build
Mm.
confidence in as much form as you need to. Thank you.
Build confidence. Because look, I tell my colleagues all the time, when they say, "Oh,
Yeah.
how can I say this to this person?" And then I let
Yeah.
them know that you have this job for a reason. There's a
Exactly.
reason why management consider to hire you and they are paying you a salary. It's
Yeah.
because you need to do your job. So you have to be confident about the job that you do, right?
Yes.
So
Very true.
that confidence for me is everything, regardless of the role or of your position or how big the person is. Know your
Yes.
stuff and speak objectively. You know, as long as you're doing your job, I think it shouldn't be that serious. We're all here to do our jobs. The CEO, everybody, we're here to do our jobs, yeah, right? So let's
Yes.
just do it and move on with the job. Okay, so one last thing. What's
Okay.
next for you? What are you up to? What are you doing right now? You know,
Mm.
is there, you can tell us, maybe we'll just do it with you or something like that.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay. So I think very much new for me is I just got a senior role. Just in fact resumed resumed in a new place.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Congratulations.
very recently, and I'm very much looking forward. And it's an international space, so I'm very much looking forward to the dynamics of that.
I mean,
And
you have to send us box of chocolates and wine. Deal.
I'm very much looking forward to that. Another very interesting thing for me really is prompt engineering, and it's something that I'm
AI
so
prompt
very,
engineering.
yes, I love
Oh.
it.
Mm.
I love it. Like I love the whole process of figuring out prompts. I've been trying to collate like a business analysis and project management prompt book. Maybe I'll share that once that is ready. But
Business analysis and project management prompt. Please, I want one. I want to
yes.
be the first person that will get it. Please.
All right.
Thank you.
But it's so very interesting for me. And I very much like the fact that AI is now very much available to everyone because it just makes working so much more efficient and more relatable. And I always tell people don't rely on the AI to provide you the answers, it's your mind. You are the guide. So
Exactly.
if we understand the
I
very
tell BAs all the time. You are
yes.
smarter than the AI. The AI would only help you put things into perspectives and just, you know, help you
Exactly.
structure stuff. But it has to be your idea in the first place.
Yes. The
That's why
fundamentals
prompt
of
engineering is
everything is
very
garbage
sorry.
in,
That's why
garbage
prompt
out.
engineering is interesting. I've looked at
Yes.
it once or twice, but I think I like your approach to it, and I would like to learn from you. So please send us your book.
I
Send
will.
me your book. Thank you. All right, please go ahead. You were trying to say something. The fundamentals of
Yes, I was trying to say the fundamentals of anything really machine, computer, and the likes is really garbage in, garbage out. You know, what you put in is what comes out. And I think when people understand that fundamentals, you stop, like you try to stop then allowing the advanced machine to do the thinking for you. Instead, you tell yourself, how do I guide this thing? You know, because it really starts with my understanding. AI is
yeah.
really feeding off of what you understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's just helping you to then pull sources together much faster, much quicker, and then provide you with
Yeah.
results. So I think that that's an interesting one for me that I'll probably see where it leads. Yes, and then
Thank
graphics.
you very much. Oh,
I do
graphics.
graphics. Yes.
Oh, interesting. Graphics. That
Yes.
means your all your presentations should be fire. Ah,
Ah, yes.
graphics.
So I'm very big on that
Oh,
one. Like
I can
very
imagine.
big.
I can imagine.
Very big on that one.
All right. Thank you very much, Ima, for
Thank you.
sharing your story, sharing your experiences, and it's been a very interesting one. I think we've had a lot of laughs and
Yes.
everything from your hilarious experiences with your very wonderful stakeholders, you know, and all
Yes.
of that. And I'm glad that you're also learning how to categorize them, the ghost and
Please
all of
send
them.
me that
I'll share it
category.
with you. Yes, I will. I'll share it with you so that you can see that. But most
All
importantly,
right.
thank you very much for coming, and know that if we call on you again, you're still going to come to discuss,
Definitely.
more topics. Thank you very
Definitely.
much, and
Thank
have a
you.
wonderful day ahead.
You too. Take care.